There are a lot of different accents in the UK, and in this video I'm going to introduce you to just a few of them. So, watch and listen. Often when people think of the UK, think of a British accent, they picture either the Queen or BBC News. And if you turn on BBC News, the presenter will often speak in a certain way.
Swiss authorities stressed that she had not asked for political asylum, but simply temporary permission to rest.
This accent is known as received pronunciation, and although it is spoken by a large number of people, predominantly in the south of England, most people do not speak like this, which can often be intimidating for people who have just moved to the UK, thinking that they can understand a British accent very well, only to encounter something very different when they arrive. The first different accent which I am going to introduce is known as Cockney, and this originates in the east of London. The Cockney accent appears in lots of different television programmes and movies, and one of my favourites is the movie Layer Cake.
Paul the boatman was top last night, right? I mean, I've got to get on my toes sharpish here, mate.
I have heard many people saying that the movie Layer Cake is the role that led to Daniel Craig becoming James Bond later on, because the character that he plays in the movie is quite similar. He is tough and smart and wears clean cut suits just like James Bond. So if you want to hear some naturally spoken Cockney and other accents from the south of England, this movie is a great one to watch. Moving slightly north, you come to Birmingham, another city in the southern half of England. To me, to somebody from the north, the Birmingham accent has similarities with the southern English accent, with the Cockney accent, but there are differences. The best place to find this accent in popular culture is the hit television programme Peaky Blinders.
Despite the provocation from the cavalry, no fighting.
Although the main character in Peaky Blinders is played by Cillian Murphy, who's actually from Ireland, I have heard that his accent is spot on, that it is very realistic. This can unfortunately not be said for many programmes based north of the border in Scotland. I will talk about this more in another video when I concentrate on Scottish and Irish accents. Moving slightly west, you come to one of the other countries in the United Kingdom, which is Wales. A great place to see this accent is in the television programme Gavin and Stacey. Here is a clip from Gavin and Stacey.
I'm going to have some peanut butter and some jam. And I'll tell you for why.
The Welsh accent is quite interesting because it is obviously impacted by the Welsh language, which is spoken by several 100,000 people in the country. Interestingly enough, when I have encountered some Welsh people in the past, people from the north of the country, which is close to the city of Liverpool, many of these people have actually had English sounding accents and sometimes even Liverpool sounding accents. So Wales is a real mixing pot of different people from different places, which leads to some interesting sounding accents. I couldn't do one of these videos without mentioning Liverpool, and perhaps the best example of a Scouse accent, as it is known, is from the footballer Jamie Carragher. Jamie Carragher played centre defence for Liverpool for many years, and is one of their best players of all time. And now he actually works on television. He is what's known as a pundit, which means he comments on games. He works in the studio. And there is a funny joke that goes round, and that is that Jamie Carragher knows what he is talking about. It's just that nobody else does. Here's a clip of an interview with a young Jamie Carragher.
Like any fan, you get excited, think who you might bring in and, being involved just because you're a player.
I made sure to include a video with subtitles for effect. Did you get much of that? Because I didn't. Moving to the other major city in the northwest of England, we go to Manchester. A great example of this accent is from Carl Pilkington, who is a comedian from the city. He is famous for appearing on the Ricky Gervais show in the noughties and early tens. He became well known as a producer on the Ricky Gervais show, which led to him starring in the hit television programme An Idiot Abroad. This show is based around the idea that Carl is very much set in his ways. He is Manchester born and bred and has barely left the city in his life. So the comedians Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant thought it would be funny to send him around the world to different exotic places. Here is a clip from one of those episodes.
Anything that's going on in the world, a bloke selling a car that needs, it's knackered, he's going to say a great run of this. Bullshit.
Again, if you're interested in British popular culture, I suggest this show because it was one of the most popular shows around the year 2010, and for good reason, because it is very funny. Moving inland to the area of Yorkshire, which is another very distinctive English accent. A good example of this accent is the boxer, Amir Khan. Amir Khan was very hyped when he was younger, as he was a very talented boxer. But unfortunately for him, he is known for a couple of pretty brutal knockdowns. A knockdown is when the other boxer hits you and you go down and the fight ends. Here is a clip of Amir Khan speaking.
You know what, look, I rather would have done a couple of more rounds and got that ring rust out properly. But in 40 seconds, you can't really, it's not here nor there, really, you know what I mean?
And the final accent which I am going to mention in this is in the northeast of England, the Geordie accent. The Geordie accent can be found in the city of Newcastle. And next door to Newcastle in Sunderland, they also speak quite similarly. Here is an example from the television show Alan Partridge, which is another very popular British show of this accent.
You know, what I reckon is that if they had themselves proper jobs, they wouldn't be up to all this, larking every night.
What?
In my personal experience, workies means people who work on construction sites from Newcastle can be very difficult to understand. I would put them level with people from certain parts of Scotland in terms of difficulty. I remember going to a building site in England and speaking with one of the workers on that site. After asking him to repeat himself 3 times, I still couldn't understand him. So I did what everyone does in this situation and went, yeah, and turned round and walked away. Alan Partridge, the character, is played by an actor and comedian known as Steve Coogan. And in recent years, Steve Coogan has starred alongside Rob Brydon, who you have already seen in the Welsh example in this video. This show was a massive hit, and it is really funny. One of the reasons it is so funny is because the two are very good at impersonating other people. They are brilliant at accents and can do pretty much all of the UK and Irish ones. So I suggest going and giving this show a watch. Here is a clip of them impersonating Michael Caine, a very famous actor from London.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
That's Michael Caine.
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. That's why I don't have a job as an impersonator. That is all for this video. Thank you for watching and listening, and remember to subscribe and like if you enjoyed this video. With nothing else to say, see you in the next one. Bye.